Hello everyone! Today is dedicated to Chanel's Summer 2015 collections. Yes, collections as in two, because there was a phase 1 and a phase 2, and I'm going to combine the products and I'm just going to talk about all of them all at once, because today I'm going to switch up the format and combine the tutorial and the review. But before we get started, I just wanted to share that my beauty and travel series finally launched on the Icon Network. The show is called Everyday Looks with Review, and we've been working on it tirelessly for the last 6 months. Everywhere I've traveled, I've been filming. So New York, Tokyo, London, they're all going to be featured in my series. So please go check it out on the Icon Network channel. I'll link the first episode down below in the description box so you guys can check it out. And to all my Chanel makeup junkies, I finally have a long and thorough review for you. So I've been collecting Chanel pieces here and there, and I was just waiting for the right opportunity to put them all together, since I didn't really purchase all too much from the first summer 2015 launch. My favorite pieces were the nail polishes, which I've already featured, but I just wanted to mention that Chanel did launch a summer collection part 2, and there were a lot of new bronzers, nail polishes, as well as some lip glosses that were released. So I have little bits of everything from Chanel in the last few months to share with you. In my typical fashion, I will start with the complexion and move on to the color. First, I'm going to talk to you about the Beige all-in-one Healthy Glow Fluid. Essentially, this is a tinted moisturizer with an SPF of 15, and I have the color 10. My sister actually purchased this for me, and she chose the color because she thought 20 was way too dark. I do agree, although I probably would be better off mixing 10 and 20, but I don't think I'll be purchasing a second tube of this because I don't really love it. I actually prefer the Chanel CC cream, which I do think does a better job of toning down redness. This is nice if you have really great skin already and you just want to even it out a little bit, add a hint of color. I do think it's a nice product, but if you have acne scarring, it's going to show everything. Overall, I just find this average. Now, because the coverage is so minimal, I had to use a lot of concealer today. So first, I targeted all my spots like acne scarring and redness, and then I went ahead and concealed under my eyes. I brightened it up quite a bit because I wanted to draw attention away from all of the hyperpigmentation that I have. And then I set all that base makeup with a little bit of powder using a Chikuhodo brush, one of my favorites, the MK2. Now, in order to shake things up a little bit further, I actually decided to go ahead and apply bronzer immediately after powder. I actually use this as an all-over bronzer today, and although I did have to pack it on, I really do like it. I actually didn't expect to like it at all, and so I was really happy with the texture. It was ultra smooth. There's no visible shimmer. It's not a disco ball in any way. So I think this is a really smooth, really fabulous highlighter for those with dark skin or tan skin. On my light to medium skin though, it can be worn as a bronzer. So I do think that for those of you ladies with very fair skin or alabaster skin, if you struggle to find a bronzer that's not too orange on you, I actually do recommend you give this a try. Now, moving on to a very new release. So when I first saw images of this powder on Instagram, I swooned. It was so gorgeous, and I have to say, now that I have it on, I am a tad disappointed. It has really gorgeous pastel pink and peach strips, but on my skin it feels like a highlighter, a very powdery highlighter. There's not much of a glow because the shimmer content is very low, so it actually works very well as a powder to blend out over application of blush or bronzer, or just simply to help fuse blush and bronzer together. I don't actually think that this is worth every penny that I paid by any means. It is gorgeous, it smells lovely, but again, this was a disappointment. There was a second version of this powder released, and it is a darker bronzy tone, but because I had already purchased this illuminating powder, I didn't want to wind up with two very similar products. So I thought this would be worth a shot, and as pretty as it is, it's really unnecessary for my light to medium skin. If you have very fair skin, it might work as a very subtle blush, and if you have very dark skin, it might work as a very natural satiny highlighter. I really do wish I could tell you that I loved it, but it leaves a lot to be desired. Now let's move on to the impressive pieces that I picked up. First, we'll start with the Stilo eyeshadow, and I use this as an eyeshadow base today. I just love the cooling effect. It feels so nice on the eyelids, especially when it's hot indoors. It just makes getting ready a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. So I picked up the Fresh Effect eyeshadow in 127, the rosy color, and it's a lot more pink than I expected. It's actually a little too pink to wear on its own, but I think it layers really well with bronzes. I actually used the illuminating powder in the chameleon shape as an eyeshadow in the crease to add more warmth to the look, because the metallic effect of this rosy eyeshadow gives it a cooler lean. I love this color, but I think I will go back and purchase a couple others because this isn't exactly an everyday shade for me. I just love the way the eye makeup came together today, but I definitely will go back to the counter and pick up a brown one. Most of you probably know by now I really like cream eyeshadow, and I especially love it in convenience stick packaging. But I have to say that Chanel is the most successful at this cooling sensation eyeshadow. Not only are these very well pigmented, but they layer well, they don't crease, and they blend beautifully. Now for my favorite product of the lot, the purple eyeliner that I'm wearing today, it is the star of the show of this look, and to be honest, I'm even surprised at how much eyeliner I'm wearing today, and I love eyeliner. I'm really not used to seeing my lower lash line being weighed down by this much color, but because the purple is bright yet defining, I think it really works for me, especially against my brown eyes. So I highly recommend this pencil. It truly has a flawless formula. The color is easy to layer and it doesn't clump up, but I did blend it with a pencil brush to make it look extra smooth. And last but not least, for the makeup, I have a new Glossimer. This is 204. It's a very milky nude pink, and you actually can't see the pink quite so much on my lips, but I do think it's very pretty and a really nice natural nude for the summer. Sometimes nude lipsticks tend to wash out the complexion, but I find that a glossy finish of something like this with a white base really helps to kind of balance out the look. Normally with an eye this dark and dramatic, I like to add a little bit more color to the lips, but I actually think it works pretty well today. I just reapplied it so that you could see how glossy it is. I really do like this because it has a slightly different formula than most of my Glossimers, which tend to be quite sparkle heavy. This one has no shimmer whatsoever, and I really like that because it creates a creamier finish. I do think that these are a little bit more hydrating. This color does remind me a lot of Turkish Delight by NARS, so if you really like those translucent milky nudes, then I highly recommend this gloss for you. Now let's talk a little bit about the nails. First, I'll discuss the shades that I'm wearing on my hands today, which are 655 Beige Rose and 659 Beige Pure. At first glance, I thought Beige Rose would be the winner by far. I wasn't even that interested in purchasing Beige Pure, but I bought it anyway just in case. Turns out I really love Beige Pure. 659 has the more traditional Chanel formula. It's just slightly translucent, very glossy, dries down quickly. I wore 2 coats on this hand, on my left hand, you're viewing right, and I adore it. It's just the perfect nude, in my opinion, for my light to medium hands. Actually, my hands are a lot darker than my face, so maybe I would call my hands about medium. Anyway, I do think that on my hands, Beige Pure is the perfect nude. It doesn't have too much pink, just a hint of it to make it a little bit more feminine, but overall I think this is the perfect office color, and just in general, a beautiful nail polish to wear all year round. Now, 655 really disappointed me because it actually reminds me of Essie nail polish. It has a very strong white base, and with 3 coats, it actually looks a little bit chalky, which is very unusual for Chanel nail polish. I still think it's a beautiful color, but it reminds me a lot of Essie's Vandigo, which I actually wore in college non-stop, but Vandigo with 3 or 4 coats actually looks a little bit neon. I just think that for the Chanel price, the chemists these should have been able to maintain a slightly milkier formula without compromising the pigmentation. I think the pigmentation is phenomenal, and this is definitely one of the fastest drying Chanel nail polishes I've ever tried. And I have a pretty sizable collection. So this is a very unique, interesting nail polish. It's not to say that I don't love it. I actually really like it. It just wasn't what I was expecting. And then of course, Beige Pure was the sleeper here. So this was a big surprise, but I do love and recommend both. I still think that Chanel always breaks ground on the most fabulous shades first, especially with the summer shades, the first set of summer shades, which are 707 and 727. I included these in my spring summer 2015 beauty what's in my makeup bag video because these are super fun. They're very bold, unique shades, completely different from the nudes that I have on today, but it's just a different vibe, you know, and it creates a different mood, especially if you are outside a lot and look at the nails in the sunlight. These are just so much fun. So I highly recommend all 4 of these nail polishes. I'm really truly impressed by them, and I have swatches of these 2 in that video I just mentioned, so I will link it down below so you can check that video out. I do realize that this is a fairly long video, so if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!